A Dream's Short Story by Giulia Pellegrinotti. To all those who will read this story. Chapter 1. Farewell. I do not know how else I can define this story, which yet has to start, if not calling it stormy. It has been so from every point of view, even literally, since I will start from the night of thunders when we left our house forever. The glass of the window reflected the spasmodic flashes that sobbed in the dirt blue sky, followed with due delay by thunders that made me leap. I was in the dark bedroom with my 4 siblings, awake under the blankets, reading one of the many books I kept on my bedside table. At each thunder, I turned my head to the window and felt the torch tremble in my hands. It seemed like heaven was having fun materializing its violence to shake the earth. How was it possible that I was the only one in the house who noticed the walls were shaking? Maybe it was because the others usually didn't stay up late to read. The sky and its secrets had always fascinated me, but that night there wasn't a single star to comfort the darkness, and it frightened me. After all, I was only 8. The only light that was that pale and sharp of the lightnings that silently kept hitting the window. I turned off the flashlight and pulled my head out of the blankets and looked at the glass. It had started to rain, dense and delicate, and then heavier drops. Here it was, a sudden purple light. Fear came later, along with the roar that shook the house. I put my hands on my ears and closed my eyes tightly. But ignoring something is not enough to prevent it from happening. I opened my eyelids carefully and saw the rain devouring the wall as it entered through the broken glass. The lightning had fallen in the garden and had hit the tool shed next to the house. "James!" The voice of my older brother Toby came from the shadows. "Lenny, Sam, Rick!" A flash illuminated his worried face, intent on fulfilling his role as the firstborn, making sure that the rest of us were all well. Again there was a thunder, first muffled and then like bombs, as if it wanted to deceive us it was not so close. "Mom, Mom!" Richard yelled from the bed next to me, waking up with a start. His little heart had to beat wildly, emotional as he was, in spite of the king he was named after. "Don't worry, Rick, here I am," Toby reassured him, as he got up to check the damage to the window. "Guys, what happens?" I turned to Lenny's bed, the second of my brothers. He looked around, and when he realized that the water was entering the room, he sighed a worried, "Oh, it's an actual storm." No, it's just a bit of rain," Toby said, glancing at him. "Come and help me with these glasses instead." Once Lenny went near him, however, I heard Toby whisper, "Don't frighten the kids," and my brother rolled his eyes. I was still sitting on the bed, with blankets up to my chin, and I was staring at the sky, that was even clearer now that the window had been swept away. That was why I was the only one who felt the coming of the second lightning, but I was too paralyzed to open my mouth. However, I don't think it would have helped that much. There was the light, which now was one thing with the thunder, and we weren't able to tell what was happening. I felt my chest explode and hugged my knees with my arms to prevent the heart from running out. When the rumble stopped in my ears, I realized that the whole house was shaking, loudly, too loudly. I could not move, and I only got up when Toby rushed to grab me, pulling me away from the bed, while the rain and wind were entering with violence through the broken window, slipping under my clothes and throwing everything into the air. In my brother's arms, I saw the walls tremble as the force of the storm drew long, irregular lines on them. Tobias, Leonard, Samuel, Richard, James! My mother's desperate voice overtook the wind as she was looking for us in the chaos that was devastating the house. My name is the last thing I remember, because the moment my father opened the bedroom door, another lightning bolt crashed on us. The ceiling collapsed, and a piece of it hit me on the temple. Later, they told me what happened next. We managed to get out of the house, with me passed out in Toby's arms, Lenny holding Rick, still shocked, and Sam holding Mother's hand. Father made his way through, trying to protect us from rubble and rain. When I came to, we were in the garden, standing in front of what had been our home. Looking at it like this from the outside, it seemed almost surreal. The large white wall of the front facade had collapsed, broken in two by the fury of the lightning that had struck the roof. I remember looking up at my father. Seeing his face wet with rain, I realized that the drops that fell from his eyes were tears, hidden but absolutely true. My father had always been a tough man, one all in one piece, who couldn't afford to cry even when his home was falling apart before him. Yet, those tears were there. The rain kept on falling mercilessly, and we continued to stand there petrified. We saw small flames struggling up to where an hour before there was the attic, suffocated and powered at the same time by water and wind. I couldn't even cry. I would have had plenty of time in the following month thinking about everything I left in there, but now I just wanted that depressing show to end. I don't know what caused the storm that day. I could say it was the weather, fate, or an accident, but I don't know. I didn't know even then, when everything had yet to begin. And as we left the house, I still had reflected in my eyes the flames burning in the rain. Thank you for listening to me. We will see next time with the second chapter.